Hey guys, it's Jen. Welcome back. Today I wanted to share with you some of my tips for applying cream eyeshadow. And to do that, I'm going to be showing you these Huda Beauty Matte and Metal eyeshadows. These are double-ended, so there's a matte shade on one side and a metallic on the other. And I showed these in my Sunday haul a couple of days ago and just got so many requests from you guys for a tutorial because a lot of you either haven't tried these, but you're not quite sure how to apply them. And some of you said that you tried these last year when she released some other shades and just didn't have a good result with them, so you were curious to see how I personally apply them. And even though I'm going to be focusing on these today, these tips can help you with just about any cream eyeshadow, whether it's from the drugstore or the ColourPop Super Shocks or even nude sticks or something in more of a solid form. It's just that I tweak my application method a little bit, and I can definitely get into that more in this video. But first I just want to quickly talk about these and show you some swatches of all the colors. I have 5 new shades to show you, as well as the original shades that I had in my collection from before. So why don't we go ahead and jump in and get started. Alright, so here's the 5 new shades that these come in, and Huda Beauty did send these to me just for full disclosure, but this video is not sponsored in any way. I'm choosing to do it on my own, but these are available at Sephora.com, also on Huda Beauty's website, and they're $25 each. So again, you do get 2 shadows in here. You get a matte on one side and then a metallic or glitter shade on the other. And in my experience, these are extremely long lasting. They don't crease even on my hooded eyes, which is amazing, and they just last all day once they set, yet they give you a lot of time to play and really get them to look perfect on the eyes. And I just love using these for just a really quick 2-color look, and all of these coordinate perfectly. So you can obviously mix and match and use a matte from one and a shimmer on the other. You can also use powder eyeshadows on top of these as well, which is really cool because they dry down so completely. They don't leave any kind of a sticky or tackiness to them that shadow is going to grip to, so everything blends on top of them really seamlessly. So you can also just use the matte shade on one of these and use it as a base for another eyeshadow just to help make it pop a little bit and to add a little bit of depth. And these are so travel friendly. You can just throw one in a bag and go. They don't take up a lot of space, and it's just a really quick, easy way to get a really glam look if you want, or something really simple and just use one of the matte shades. Just swipe it on and go. So before we get into the demo, let me just quickly show you swatches of all of these shades. They're so beautiful. So first up we have Cashmere Robe, which is the matte shade, and then Penthouse Sweet, which is the metallic, and this is just a really beautiful neutral taupey brown combo. Next up we have Cinnamon Toast as the matte shade, and then Hella Honey as the metal shade, and this is just a beautiful copper combo. Next we have French Lace as the matte shade and Diamond Drip as the metal, and this one is a gorgeous cool toned icy lilac. I love this one so much. And then another favorite of mine is Request Line in the matte shade and Slow Jams in the metal. This one is a gorgeous lavender pink and rose gold combo. And then we have VI Pink in the matte shade and Million Dollar Deals in the metal shade. And this one is a mauve combo with more of a dusty mauve in the matte shade, and then the metal shade is just a little bit more of a pinky mauve. They're so beautiful. So those are the new shades, and now I'll just quickly show you the 4 older shades that I have. So the first one is Double Pump Latte, which is a tan matte shade, and then Drop Top, which is a golden bronze glitter. Next we have Bubble Bath, which is a dusty pink matte, and then on the other side we have Pink Champagne, which is a silver-based cool pink glitter. Next we have Minted, which is a mint green matte shade, and then Dinero, which is a silver-toned mint glitter. And last but not least, we have Faux Fur, which is a light peach-toned nude matte, and then Bamboo Hoops on the other side, which is an oyster gold glitter. So those are just the 4 that I have in the older colors, but there are a few more as well on the Sephora website. So why don't we go ahead now and get into the demo, and I'll quickly show you how I created the look that I'm wearing today and just my application tips for these in general. Alright guys, so we're zoomed in nice and close, and I'm going to be using the Cashmere Robe and Penthouse Sweet one. So this is the one that's the more brown neutral color. And what I like to do is put the matte shade on the back of my hand and then apply it with a brush. Huda suggests putting 3 little dots on your eyelid, and what happens then is usually I'll start blending and it'll be full opacity all the way up to my brow bone, which is way too much. I want it to start out more opaque on the lid and then just gradually fade out. So putting it on the back of my hand just gives me a lot more control. So I just go ahead and put a little bit just like that. And then I take the Morphe M433 brush. This one is a fluffy brush, but it's not super fluffy. So it's perfect just for applying the shadow right into the crease. So I just go ahead and dip this into it really lightly, like just a tiny little amount. That's really all you need. And then I just go ahead and start blending. So I put it first on my eyelid here, and you can always add more. So I just feel like even though I took a tiny little bit, I can always go back in and grab just a little bit more product if I need to. So as you can see, this is already covering my eyelid pretty well, but I am going to go back in and just grab a tiny little bit more. And that was actually too much. I just tapped a little bit of it back off right there. So let's go back in. So first I just cover my lid with it. You don't have to do this. You could just apply this straight into your crease if you wanted to, but I like to just create a base on my lid first. And then I just start working it up towards my brow bone. And if I feel like the color is still too concentrated, I could just flip my brush over and use the side without the product on it to start blending. And the good thing about these shadows is that they give you a lot of time to blend them out, so they don't dry down right away, but then once they do set, they set for the entire day, which is great. So as you can see, that tiny little bit of product that I picked up with the brush from my hand has basically spread all the way up to my brow bone right here. And just to avoid any harsh edges, I could always go in with a fluffier brush like this. This is the Morphe M330, and this one's just a clean brush, and I can just go ahead and swipe this along the outer edge just to clean it up a little bit. It pretty much has dried down already, but doing this will still help it to diffuse the edge just a little, which is great. So that's it. It's just really quick and easy to lay down your base, and it's completely dry now, so I could go ahead and put powder products over this if I wanted to. But for today's look, I am going to use the cream shade that's on the other side. But before I do that, I just want to quickly dip back into what's on my hand right here with the Morphe M167 brush, and this is a flat liner brush. So I'm just going to line the bottom lash line a little bit, and this is already almost completely dry, so I may have to add more. I'm going to see if I was able to pick up anything on this brush, but if not, you could just go ahead and add a little more to your hand. Yeah, it looks like it's still picked it up fine, but it is definitely starting to dry. So what I like to do is just connect my bottom lash line to the upper one, just to make the color look continuous from the bottom lash line to the top. And I actually like using these even better than eyeliner because I feel like this doesn't go anywhere, and it just creates such a soft, smudgy look under your eyes instead of a harsh line of eyeliner. So I really love this. All right, so that's one eye done with just the matte base. And again, you can just go over if you need to and kind of buff away any type of edges that you want to and just make it look as seamless as you possibly can. All right, so then when it comes to using the metallic side for your lid, you could do a couple of different things. First, you could put this on the back of your hand like I did with the matte shade and pick it up with either a brush or your finger and just pat it on. But I find that I don't have as much control that way, at least with using my fingers, because usually I want to get my shimmer shade into the inner corner. And if I use my finger, it can tend to like go everywhere. So sometimes I like to just draw it on with the brush that's included. And what I'll do is just wipe off the excess product on the edges so that I don't get too much on my lid. And I start with this, and then if I want to add a little bit more impact, I'll go in and use my finger in the wider part of my lid. So let's start out just putting this in the corner. And the one thing about these shadows too is that you don't want to apply too much or make them too heavy, because then you'll start to feel them on your eyelid. They do dry down all the way even still, but if you don't like that heavy feeling that there's something sitting on your lid and you want it to be a little bit more weightless, I recommend applying a really light layer. And if you do it in a light layer too, you really don't have to touch it after that. Sometimes if you glob on too much, you might feel like you have to press it on with your finger. And I find that if you do that, it tends to disperse the product a little bit and make it not quite as impactful. It'll just look more like a sheer glittery layer if you try to touch it with your finger. So I find that just using the brush and wiping it off first so that there's just hardly any product on it helps you to get just this really nice layer going. And then you can always just take a little brush, this is the Morphe M506, and just kind of go along the edge so that it doesn't look harsh, and just blend it a little bit into that matte shade. And because I have hooded eyes, my crease is very low, so I usually like to apply shimmer shades up to about my socket line, which is right here. So I go a little bit above where my eye folds and creases. All right, so that is basically it. I'm just gonna go ahead and do the other eye and apply mascara, and I'll be right back. All right, so just quickly, here's a closer look at the finished look with the mascara and everything. And like I said before, this is so quick and easy. It takes me maybe like 3 or 4 minutes to do my eyes, and you just get a really beautiful, easy look. And also, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I just want to quickly talk about a couple other cream products that I really enjoy using and how I apply these. It's really very similar, but when it comes to something like nude sticks, which is in a cream form like this, I used to just draw them straight on my eyes like that, and it worked out okay. I used to just kind of smudge it with my finger, but I find that I still get the best control and more of a sheer wash of color if I just draw it on the back of my hand first. So I'll just draw a bunch like this, and with something like nude sticks, I need to use a little bit more than I would with the Huda, just because it's a little bit more of a stiffer formula. But then you can easily go in with a brush just like I did with this, and then apply it, like, just pretend this is my eye. And you can just apply it just like that, and it just creates a really sheer wash of color in your crease, and then you can blend it up, and you can always add more if you want. But I think that's the key with using cream eyeshadows in general, is to just go really sparingly, because you can always add more, but when it comes to creams, it's really hard to take them away. When you're using powders, you can always pack them on, and if it's too much, you can always like dust a lighter powder on top or blend it away if you keep blending. But with creams, it's sometimes harder to do that, and you can make a really big mess. So I think just going in the lightest possible layers is the key. And when it comes to something like the ColourPop Super Shocks, which are already in a pot, you don't need to necessarily scoop some out and put it on your hand. You could always just dip right into the pot like this with your brush, or you can use your fingers. But again, I just find like I have the most control with a brush, especially if I want to put something in my crease. And then you can just go ahead and blend it right into your eye like that. You could always add more. And then if you want more impact, you can always go back in with your finger and just pat it on the lid in like a patting motion, and that'll amp it up a little bit. When you're using brushes, it's always going to sheer it out. So I find that using brushes for crease work with creams makes all the difference. And then if you want to go in and apply a little bit more with your fingers, just to kind of top it off on the lid area, it works out beautifully that way. And then you can always use like a smaller pointed brush if you need to get into like the inner corner of your eye as well. So anyway, guys, that's about it. That's how I apply my cream eyeshadows these days. And as I've been kind of refining this technique, I really enjoy using them a lot more than I did before when I was using my fingers, because I just felt like even though I enjoyed using them for a quick and easy look, just drawing something on and then blending with my fingers was giving me an okay result, but it wasn't as neat as I wanted it to look. It sometimes could come off a little bit messy. And sometimes when it came to even creamier formulas like this, I was completely lost before. I had no idea what I was doing, and using my fingers was kind of a disaster. So I think brushes are definitely essential when it comes to formulas like this. Whereas with these, you could always just smudge them with your finger if you don't care about being too precise or anything like that. But if you're somebody who likes more control, I would definitely even use these with a brush, and I think it'll make a really big difference. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you picked up some helpful tips today, and if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Also, let me know down in the comments below what your favorite cream products are and how you like to apply them, and if you have any more tips for us, that would be awesome. Thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button right here in the corner of your screen, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.